How's it going, YouTube? Right, I thought we'd try the van this weekend. So what I did was I finished work yesterday, I jumped straight in the van and I've drove up north. What I'm going to do is I'm going to nip to the Peak District. What I've done now is I've stopped on the way. I'm currently in a lay-by just round the corner from Sherwood Forest near Ollerton. And the sun's out today as well, which makes a change. The reason I've stopped here is because this kind of area is where I'm originally from, and it's my nan's birthday today. I drove up here last night straight after work, so I got here late in the evening, and I've spent my first night in the camper van. And we'll have a talk about that later. The drive up was surprisingly good, actually. I managed to get the van to about average of 29 miles per gallon. I think it's a 2 litre, I can't remember. It's been a while since I bought the van. And for the weight of it, I don't think that's bad at all, really. It took me about 100 miles before I remembered it even had cruise control. Once I remembered it had cruise control, that completely changed everything. That was nice. One of the things that took me by complete surprise is how quiet the entire van is. I expected, because this is a DIY build, because I've done it myself, I expected a lot of rattles and knocks and things like that that I'd have to sort out. What I found was probably the first 50 mile or so, you had like the, you know, like the wood rubbing together kind of noise as I went over bumps and things like that. But after about 50 miles, it virtually stopped, or not stopped, but went to a real minimum, which is a lot quieter than I expected to be. I'm really quite pleased in how that side of things turned out. One more thing that I have noticed that I am going to change. Since I've fitted the rotating bases, I think it lifted it up 40 millimeters on the original bases. It's a little bit high when I'm sat in the cab. What I'm finding is the top of the steering wheel, it's literally cutting off the clocks at the top, so I can't quite see everything. And I do feel kind of high up here. So what I'm definitely going to do is I'm going to fit the lowered bases on there and drop it back down the 40 millimeters again. Not the cheapest thing to do, but I definitely think that's worth it. That is perfectly copeable how it is there, but I don't want to cope with something. I'd rather it be exactly how I want it to be, which is down a bit more. So I will change those at some point shortly. Other than that, the van was perfectly fine. It might change slightly once I'm carrying a passenger and some water and things like that, because that'll add some more weight on it. And it also might change once I fit the new wheels and tyres, because obviously they'll be like the BF Goodrich kind of style tyres. There might even be those yet, because I do like the look of them, but I'd rather go for something more miles per gallon friendly than the BF Goodrich. But whatever I get, it's going to increase the road noise and it's going to decrease the miles per gallon slightly as well. So what we'll do later is I'll carry on up the road, and what we'll probably end up doing is going around Castleton area, and go up Winnet's Pass and park up round Blue John Caverns, that sort of area where everybody seems to park, and I'll spend the night there. And then the day after, I think what I might do is nip to Derwent Dam or something like that to have a look at that, because I think with all the rain and everything we've had, hopefully it's overflowing. It's not all about super adventure, this video. It's basically about just trying the van and just seeing how things are turning out. I'm using the van in a way where I'm not really conserving energy. I'm just using what I want as I feel like it, just so I can gauge how the battery's going and things like that. Because obviously we're in winter, the sun's really low, and the solar is completely useless. And there's something else really cheap that I've bought for the van that was a complete game changer, because it's something I really wouldn't normally like at home. But in the van it's absolutely fantastic, and we'll have a look later at that when we park up tonight. Right, so I'm going to finish this coffee, I'm going to move on, go and see my nan for a bit, and then we'll catch up back on the road again. So I'll see you in a bit. Say hello.
Hello.
It's birthday today.
Yes.
50, aren't you?
No, I'm 88. 88.
Not my orange. I've been eating Doritos. Right, so we're moving on now and heading towards Castleton. I've put that in the sat-nav. So up in the distance we've got Sheffield. We'll be going around the outskirts of Sheffield and then into the Peak District. And the van, I don't know if you can hear it, but the van seems pretty quiet still. You get the odd rattle as you're going across bumps and holes in the road, the same as any vehicle really. But I'm really pleased. There's definitely no consistent sort of banging and rattling and things like that that you normally have in camper vans. It's pretty quiet, to be honest, so I'm quite pleased how that's turned out. Oh no! Right, new lesson. Don't hold the camera on the screen. It's cracked all the screen there, so it looks like I'm changing the stereo system when I get home. And the touchscreen stopped working now as well. So hopefully this will still follow the route. We'll find out. Let's carry on. Right, that seems to still be working fine. So let's talk more about the camper when we get where we're going, shall we? Right, here we are. This'll do us for the night. Let's settle here. As you've just seen, we just drove through Castleton and then up Winnett's Pass. Looking out the window over there in the distance, it looks a bit bigger to me than what it does in this camera. That's looking out into Hope Valley over there. And then if I look out this window up here, up straight out the window up there, that's Mamtor. And over the other side of Mamtor, that's where they've got Edale, Kinder Scout and all the bigger peaks over that side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to settle here for the night. I need to get something to eat. I'm really not organised at all for this trip. Every day when I finished work it was dark, and then Friday I finished work and then had a little bit of something to eat and then we drove off. I've spent the week just doing a few final little bits on this camper van and cleaning it out and stuff like that, but I've literally been doing it in the dark every evening. I did a little bit of shopping for the trip, mainly Doritos and cookies and things like that, not really any proper food. So I need to have a look in the fridge and I've got a few little bits just to throw in the air fryer. So we'll try out all the inverter and everything properly on that. I know we did earlier with the kettle, but we want to use it with something a bit more substantial. What we'll do is I'll use the kettle and the air fryer and everything at the same time. Like I said earlier, what I want to do is just use this without being conservative over the power at all. So this is more than an adventure because I've been here a million times. This is more just testing, seeing how the van is coping, just making sure no bits fall off it and stuff like that. I was kind of expecting going home with a great big snagging list of extra screws and things like that I need to put in places everywhere. So far I've not found anything that I need to do. Everything seems to be fine, but there's plenty of time yet for bits to fall off. And you can see the screen on the stereo system now. It's cracked right down to the bottom. There you are, look. So I'm going to have to change this radio out when I get home. I'll put the Atoto one in, the one with the big 10-inch screen that I had in the Volkswagen. I'll take this one out for now. It was a good stereo, but it's not a very good camera stand when you're using one of these clamps. I should have expected that, to be honest. That's quite stupid of me. Right, before it gets dark, I want to show you that one thing that I said I'd bought that is a bit of a life changer, to be honest. And I definitely normally don't like these. Right, so let's go in the back door so you can see. Right, just here, look, you can see this wire hanging down. we've got an electric blanket, a double-size electric blanket. So I've been using this off of the inverter. I used it last night and it is absolutely fantastic. I had it on the lowest setting last night. It was almost freezing outside. I just left it on its lowest setting. It was using 25 watts of power, which is absolutely nothing. And it kept that bed toasty warm. Like I said, normally I wouldn't like them at all. If I had one of those at home, I would absolutely melt. Being as fat as me, you don't want anything else to make you hotter. But in this camper, it was absolutely perfect, and it hardly used any energy at all. I got that one off of Amazon. I paid 25 quid for it, so it was absolutely nothing. And it saved me having to run the diesel heater at night. All I did was literally in the morning, I turned the diesel heater on so it'd heat up all the camper. I didn't need it on at night at all with having that electric blanket. I'll put a link down below to the one I bought. I can't remember the name of it. It's a named brand one. You know, the one with the big hippo and the duck? I can't remember. I saw the hippo and I thought to myself, so I thought that must be right. I'll put a link down below so you can check it out. Right, so in the fridge I've got myself a few little nibbly bits. Little jacket potatoes with cheesy stuff on, chicken things, and some more chicken things. So what I'll do is let's get the air fryer out. Let's throw a few of these in it because I need something warm to eat. Get the kettle on and have a coffee. Right, that's everything on. 1600 watts coming through the inverter. So we'll sit back now, let that cook, and see if the van sets on fire. Not super appetising, but it'll do. And looking at the battery, it's on 86% now. I think it was on 93 when we started. So cooking that little bit of stuff there, boiling the kettle and running the lights all at the same time to do it. Used about 7% of battery, so that's not too bad at all, really. Right, I'm going to get tucked into this. That weren't that bad, actually. Nice. So I think now I'm going to take advantage of the fact I'm not at work and I'm not having to do any work on this camper. And for the first time in weeks and weeks and weeks, I'm just going to chill and relax for a little bit. And I want to carry on using this camper today with the lights and everything on so I can see how it's all lasting. So I'll catch you in a little while. Then tomorrow I think we'll take a drive past Lady Bower and we'll go and have a look at Derwent Dam because I like it down there. And it'd be nice if I could find some breakfast somewhere as well because I've not actually got anything for breakfast apart from probably a cookie. Right, I've shut up all the blinds now because it's dark outside, look. It's only 4:30 as well. I can hear the rain and the wind and everything else. It's absolutely miserable outside. So I've shut everything up and I've been having to play around with a few things. One of the things I've been playing with, because this is an iPhone 16, and literally I had 1 bar of signal, so my internet kept dropping in and out constantly, and I couldn't actually watch any YouTube videos or anything like that. So I've been playing around with this Kuma Wi-Fi that we fitted. And I've come to the conclusion, in this little box here, look, the SIM card that you get with it, this one, I can't remember what it is, Broadband Go or something like that, the signal on it is absolutely useless. But what I've done is I've taken the EE card out of my phone, I've put it in the Kuma device. As you can see, I've got no signal from the phone, so I've got no SIM card in it, but I'm on Wi-Fi, and now I've got a stable signal. It's not the strongest signal in the world. Look, I've just done a speed test, but what I can tell you is it's perfectly stable. And just to show you what I had in the phone, this one that I did earlier, this is the signal that I had from the phone itself on the same SIM card. That was absolutely useless. It was sat at 1 bar and it literally just kept dropping in and out and it wouldn't stay connected at all. Now it's actually connected all the time. Like I said, not a super fast signal, but we're connected, which is the important thing. So that's bonus points to this Kuma Wi-Fi. This SIM card that you get with it, I believe this is a roaming card as well, so this might come into its own once we leave the UK. I will actually try that when we're in another country. Right, I'm just playing around with this thermal camera, looking at things, and check out my sleeping area. The whole bed area there is 20 degrees. I've got that electric blanket on. If I pull that sheet back, we can have a look what it's actually at there. So if I take it back now, look at the bed, all nice and warm there, 32 degrees. This is obviously on full power. You can turn it on full power just to get it nice and warm, and then turn the power down just to keep it at a nice warm temperature. So that bed is toasty warm, waiting for me to get in it. But like I said, it's 4:30, so I'm going to chill for a bit, watch some YouTube videos and stuff like that. And if I don't see you later on, I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. That night was interesting with the wind. It was like I was on a boat rather than a camper van, everything swaying about and stuff like that. The camper was absolutely fantastic. I was nice and warm with the electric blanket on all night, and the beginning of the night I had the diesel heating on, turned it on an hour ago as well just to warm everything up again. So the camper itself was absolutely fantastic. The problem was the wind more than anything, so it was blowing the camper van about. But that's what you get from being up in the hills. The only problem with the camper van that I did find, come here, I'll show you. It is actually something I want to finish anyway, but if you have a look up here, that bit there, up where the door is, there was a horrible draft blowing in through that bit. But further down, where it's overlapping there, I was getting nothing. And even putting your hand on the door and things like that, it didn't feel particularly cold. So that insulation down here has worked really well. It's just the bit up at the top. There was a draft blowing through there, but I mean the wind was blowing hard on the back doors. When I finish that, I'm going to put a little bit more effort in to really seal it off a lot better than what it is now. But everywhere else, there was no drafts, no cold or anything coming from anywhere. It was really good. Battery is on 56%, but I've really given it some hammer, to be honest. I've had that electric blanket on all night. I didn't have it on the minimum setting. I had it on the number 2 setting because it was kind of nice. I had that on all night. As you can see now, I've literally got every light on. I'm really not being conservative with anything at all. I'm just using it with everything. I've already had a couple of cups of coffee this morning. So what we're going to do is we're going to drive down the hill. We're going to drive into Castleton. I'm going to park in the car park there. I think 9:30, so I've got another hour to wait. 9:30, there's a little bit of a restaurant stroke cafe that comes open, and I'll see if we can get a bit of breakfast or something there, shall we? I changed my mind. I'm going to go straight to Derwent Dam and have a walk round. But let's face it, I can manage skipping a breakfast or two, can't I? I've got a coffee from the petrol station, so that'll sort me out just nice. And look at this for a good example of you can't park there. Right, here we are. This is Derwent Dam car park. Let's take a walk that way and let's go and see if the dam's overflowing. I don't know if it will be, but I always like visiting here when I come here. It's a nice little walk. Normally we go much further, but this weekend's all about the camper and how everything's coping. Let's have a quick look at the battery actually, because I've just done a 20-minute drive to get here. Right, let's have a look, see if it put anything in it. 63%, so that's knocked it up a little bit from where we was. Let's start the engine quickly and see what it's putting in. Right, give it a second to kick in. It's putting 660 watts in it. So if we look down at the battery there, that's 44.1 amps going in. There's a few bits coming out as well. So that 50 amp charger from the Victron XS is working perfect. If you're new to these videos, check out my full electrical install series as well, and check out the link below, Energy Solutions, so where you can get all this Victron stuff from. Water's not flowing over the top, but it's still nice to be here. Have a look at this. I can't fly the drone or anything like that. It's a bit of a no drone fly area. We could have gone further over and flown the drone, to be honest, but it's really windy anyway today and horrible. Have a look. It's a nice place to be. Some really nice walks around here as well. This is a bit of Paul Messner territory, this. He normally goes camping kind of up the top up there. You can't really see it because it's in cloud. There's some places back there, Banford Edge and places like that, that Paul Messner goes a lot. Let's have a quick walk up there and have a look at the top and see how close the water actually is to overflowing. Steeper than it looks, especially for a fat bloke like me. This is a really good sight after a good downpour when all this is overflowing. Right, let's go up there and see how high the water actually is. Right, you can see in the middle over there, the water's probably about a metre off of overflowing, so it needs quite a bit more rain than what we've recently had to make that overflow. Normally, I would carry on down there and go right down and probably up onto the edge and places like that and have a really good walk, but not today. I'm going to have a little walk about myself while I'm here. I'm not going to go too far or anything like that. We've got plenty of time in the future for some adventures in the van. I've still been going out in the Volkswagen and places like that, but I've not really been recording it. It's been a bit of my time, to be honest, but we will be having plenty of adventures in the future. And I'm hoping to take the cats with me as well, so they can see a bit of the world. Right, so I'm going to have a walk about. I'll see you back in the van. Saving the day, sausage and bacon bap coming from there, so I am having some breakfast. Nice. Right, that's me fed. Let's get back to the van. Just parked it over there right in the corner, look. Right, Right, I'm going to slowly head home. There's a few things I want to do on my way home. So what we'll do is we'll have a catch up when I'm at home, just to make sure nothing's fallen off on the way back. So I'll see you when we're back at home. Right, just got back after 4 hours driving. Let's have a quick look at the battery. Up at 100%. To be honest, I expected that to be up at 100% after 3 hours of driving, so 4 hours, it's obviously going to be 100%. Right, and if we have a look in the front, the only problem in the front, obviously, was the radio there where the screen's smashed. That's now rubbish. I'll rip that out and I'll stick that older Toto 10-inch one that I had in the Volkswagen. I'll stick that in it. That's not the radio's fault, that was my fault for clamping on this clamp onto the edge of the corner for my camera. Should have expected that really, that was stupid. If I turn the ignition on quickly, two things we can see there. One is we've got an average of 28.8 miles per gallon. I don't know if that's good. I think it's good. Comment below what you think of that, because I don't know what to expect out of this vehicle. It's the 2-litre model, and obviously it's got all the weight of the camper behind it now. The other thing you notice is the times flashing there. I've googled it, I've tried everything. Because this one had the sat-nav version of the car stereo system built into it, this is where you changed all the time and everything else. So to set that time, I'm literally, as I'm changing that radio, I'm going to have to stick the old radio back in and plug it in so I can set that time. I've googled everything, because apparently down here, normally what you'd do is you'd scroll through the menus and you get to a time set. But because it's the sat-nav version of the radio, you don't get that setting. So I don't know if you can turn it on with a computer or something like that. But the vehicle itself has been absolutely fantastic. It was even better once I remembered that it had got cruise control. That made everything a lot easier. Let's close these blinds a second and talk about the rest of it. Right, the rest of the van worked absolutely fantastic. Even down to driving down the road, it was much quieter than I expected it to be. I expected a lot more knocking and banging around from the conversion that I've done. There is, over here somewhere, a creaking from wood. It seems to get better the more miles you do, so I don't know whether that's because it's heating up with the heaters on, or if it just gets fed up of creaking as you're driving along. It's not creaking that much as in to irritate me, it's just creaking. It's there sometimes. If I get a chance later on, I might try and find out where it's coming from and pack it out. I'm assuming it's where these bottom cupboards here are fastened to the back wall, and it's this worktop creaking against the back or something like that. But like I say, it's not really irritating at all. It's just a slight creaking now and again. In the high winds last night, there was no drafts at all, apart from that one, where's my finger? Apart from that one on the back door there, which I'm going to trim out all that back area. I was going to trim that back area anyway, but what I'm going to do now is trim it better than I was going to originally trim it, if that makes sense, just to stop that draft. The rest of the camper van, there was no drafts at all. I was feeling around all the panels and things like that to see if there was any cold air radiating through the steel or anything like that. No, there wasn't. The only bits are the obvious bits, like inside these cupboards where they're not packed out at the back. I've not even put any insulation in these bits at the back yet. The only one I have actually insulated is over here, look, behind this one. This is all insulated because I can't be bothered to take that off again, so I insulated all that right up. In the top of the cupboard there, you can see the insulation poking out there, and that's coming from this side because that's all insulated up. I will be carrying on this insulation all around the back there as we cover the back of these cupboards up. So I've got absolutely no complaints. I was expecting to come back with a snagging list, like I said, of things that I need to put right, and it seems to have done really well. Let me just move this camera. And it seems to have done really well with everything as it is already. The battery lasted really well as well on this Victron setup from Energy Solutions. I got it down to, what was it, 62% or something like that, but that was really hard use of using the air fryer, leaving the electric blanket on all night. That electric blanket was great as well, by the way.
leaving all that on all night, not being sparingly with any of these lights, just literally just turning everything on that I wanted it to be on, and the battery lasted really well. Obviously the solar did absolutely nothing because it's winter and the sun's really low. Let's have a quick look actually. If I log into it on my phone here, look, if we go to history, I got 130 watt hours there on Saturday and 80 watt hours today, so absolutely nothing really, which is expected this time of year. 330 amp hour battery, which is what we've got, seems to be lasting okay for the usage that I'm using it for now. If I was living in this van, I think I'd like to see at least double that. But as I'm not, it's perfectly fine for me. Now, eventually I might get another one of those 330 amp hour batteries and double the capacity on this van. But for now, we'll see how we go with how it is. Right, so I think that concludes that trip. The next things we're going to do on the camper is most likely this bathroom here. We've got to start boarding it out properly. I've got a door coming. That should be coming within the next few days or week, I think. And then we can start doing that. Then I've got to waterproof it all, and we're going to start turning that into a proper shower room. And then after that, we've got to do the plumbing on the van, get all the water heater and everything working, and finish off the bobble van stuff. And obviously get these taps working and stuff like that. I want to get all the plumbing done so I can use all that sort of stuff properly. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to see some more of this van. Obviously, we're going to do some little adventures and things in the meantime as well. Now it's kind of usable. Comment below anything you want to say. Let me know about those miles per gallon, what you think and what you expect to get out of this van, because I'm not 100% sure. I personally think it's okay. So comment below what you think. Like the video if you liked it, and I'll catch you again in another video. Cheers.